Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and it's time for another instructive chess miniature. All right, this one we got Josh Vardell versus, well, De Hong. And, well, let's go and see how Josh goes ahead and takes him out. Here we go. We start with e4, c5, knight f3, e6, a modern Sicilian. d4, open Sicilian. C takes d4, knight takes d4, pawn to a6 over here. There we got the con variation. Knight c3, pawn to b5, and this already is kind of a mistake because you're opening up on the queen side a little too fast here. Here already, White has some very nice ideas about this whole plan. Black is trying just too hard to come out on the queen side. All right, bishop to d3, bishop to b7, castles kingside, and knight c6. Again, we see that, well, Black is a bit underdeveloped here, and he's trying to go ahead and put pressure on the knight with a free tempo. Here, unfortunately for Black, here White plays a very surprisingly but good move here and plays knight takes on c6. Not many people would be thinking about this move because, well, here most of the time when you're playing with White, you just want to go ahead and play the standard knight to b3 here, but this actually helps out Black. Remember, whenever you're up in development or have more pieces out, we want to go ahead and not lose any time. And so by making a move like knight b3, well, this gives Black time to bring out a piece. By taking on c6, well, Black has to take back, so they lost tempos or time in the game. So here, bishop takes on c6, and here, well, let's keep developing. Queen to e2 over here. Bishop to c5. I'm not a big fan of these bishop c5s, especially in Sicilians. And, well, a nice tempo move here for White. What do you play? Simple chess. Bishop to e3, developing with a threat. And here, Black plays pawn to d6. All right, what do we do now? Well, pawn to a4, open up lines as soon as possible. Remember, this king is in the center, and here the closest pawn for us was that b5, just like they did very early in the game. So a4 here is trying to pry open on the queen side. We need open files and open lines. All right, Black went ahead and played. Bishop takes on e3. And here, pawn takes on b5 here, a nice intermezzoa or Zwischenzug move, and by taking on b5 and attacking this bishop. Okay, here, pawn takes on b5. Here, some people might be asking, what if we play bishop takes f2 check and win an extra pawn? Unfortunately, here you just lost the game. Here we simply play queen takes on f2, and now we have a double threat. Here, queen takes on f7, plus the threat of pawn takes on c6. It's going to be game over here. White is winning. So here, a takes on b5, a nice in-between move here, taking on b5, opening up the position, and allowing us to still put pressure on the bishop. Notice that this in-between move is very important because, well, if we played something as simple as, let's say, queen takes on e3, well, here, Black can just play something like b4 to keep the position closed, or maybe even just something like b takes on a4, which is what computer's recommending. And here there's also another nice idea with something like f takes on e3, trying to open up the f file. Now this could be good, this could be bad. It's definitely good in the short term, but in the long term, these double pawns might be bad for you. So here, that's why this a takes b5 is such a nice move here. Again, we guaranteed open files here, and here we have pressure on both bishops, so it's not even a crazy move to play. All right, pawn takes on b5. And here another nice in-between move here. Bishop takes on b5, saying, you know what, I don't care about this bishop. Here I'm going after the king. And here, well, we're putting pressure on the bishop. That comes with a check. All right, bishop takes on b5. And, well, which way do we take back with? Of course, with the queen. Queen takes on b5 check, and the king has to move away. Of course, there's no ideas about trying to block here, as rook takes a8 would be very embarrassing. Okay, so the king goes to f8. It is now very easy to see that White is just in a winning position. And here, Josh does a very good job on just finishing up this game. F takes on e3 here. Now we have the open f file here, attacking f7. Rook to b8. Here, Black decides not to make some trades here. If he does, I mean, it's still going to be losing here. After something like rook takes a1, rook takes, it's very easy to see that, well, we have a nice passed pawn to push over here. The king's very weak over here. This is already a +4 position. And the rook coming to a7 will not help matters. Again, f7's underneath pressure. Queen b7, the doubling should be about game over here. With that being said, rook b8 got played, attacking the queen. And here, another nice in-between move. What do you play here? All right, hopefully you found it. Hopefully you tried to figure it out. Rook to a7. How mean can you be? Here, of course, after rook to a7, you're threatening on f7 for checkmate. So if rook takes on b5, well, it's just game over right here. Here, we're going to go ahead and play rook takes on f7 check. Of course, not rook takes on f7 check with the f rook, because after king e8, well, there's just going to be, although this is okay here, it's just not going to be enough. Here computer's giving knight takes on b5, and here black plays knight to e7 here, and apparently this is about an even position, if not just a draw. Of course, if you just try and trade everything off right away, here black at the end will be up the extra exchange. So here we got to take with the right rook and play rook a takes f7 check. Okay, the king is forced to e8. And now rook f8 check, king to e7, rook to f7 check, and that is going to be a mate right there. Here, of course, black would have to try something like king to d7, but again, this is just lost. Rook 1 to f7 check, knight will block. Here, rook takes d8 check, rook takes d8 check, knight takes b5, and this is just a winning endgame here. Oof, all this for a simple one-move threat with rook to a7. All right, well, black was able to calculate all those moves and see that in every variation, white's just going to be better. So black went ahead and just played knight f6. A very nice move here, just developing and blocking the f file for the rook. All right, what do we do now? Rook takes on f6. We will not be denied. And here, well, the pawn has to take back. Why? Well, if the queen takes on f6, well, this just leaves your rook unprotected. Queen takes on b8, and this is going to be check and mate very soon. Here, the queen has to block. So, here, the pawn has to take back, and here the idea is the weak f7 pawn. Can you find the quiet move here, which starts setting up a very nice attack against f7? All right, hopefully you found it. This one was not too hard. Here, the queen just slides over to h5, and now it's becoming very hard to defend against this king. All right, queen to e8, only move I can see without losing material. Got played right here. And here, another beautiful move. Here, again, Josh will not be denied. He has to push through. And here he does a very nice idea here. Here we need to get the knight into the game. So here he does a nice clearance sacrifice. Pawn to e5 here. What's this pawn move do? The real idea behind this pawn is for the knight to jump in. It's going to go to e4, either to go to d6, which puts pressure on f7, or maybe a knight f6 in some variations here with queen h6 and checkmate over here. So either way, it's going to be bad here. And, well, black's best move here is just to play pawn to h6. That's the computer's recommendation. Everything else is just going to be terrible here. Again, if you take on f takes e5, it's actually forced checkmate here in 6. And it's queen h6 check, king to g8, knight e4, now threatening knight to f6 checkmate, queen to d8 to try and block, and here you just play knight f6 check, and it's just going to be forced checkmate. The queen has to sacrifice, and there's just going to be no good way to stop the checkmate. Queen takes on f6, queen takes on f6. Here you need to stop checkmate on f7, so you play the rook to f8, and the queen goes to g5 for mate. Oof. So here, h6 got played, already seen the idea of the knight jumping over and putting pressure. So, free pawn, let's go ahead and take it. E takes f6, there are now new checkmating ideas in the game. Rook to h7, and let's bring that knight in. Knight to e4. Queen to d8, putting pressure on the pawn. And here, a very nice move here. Last one I'll ask you for this game. It is now white to move. What do you play here to get a nice free tempo and bring in the final piece? The knight. White to move, what do you play? All right, hopefully you found it. It was knight to g5 here. And here you see you're putting pressure on the rook, and there's really just no way out of this anymore. Here, of course, we're not grabbing any pawns. Knight takes h7 is already embarrassing enough, getting a fork. It also ends up with a checkmate here in a few moves. So here, black was pretty much forced. He just has to go ahead and take it. The checkmate on f7 is just too strong here. So here, pawn takes on g5. Rook takes f7 check here, exclaim. Of course, most people here are expecting queen takes on h7, which was not a bad move, but after queen takes on f6, a lot of the sting comes out. So here, I'm pretty sure he was expecting that, but here you find the beautiful rook takes f7 check, rook takes, and now, well, checkmate in 1, queen to h8 for check and mate. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this instructive chess miniature. We'll see you in the next one.